We've got another spec'd out monster of a watch that I'll be reviewing today under $150 from a Heimdallr brand modder extraordinaire, available on the X Watch Mod store on AliExpress. This watch is the model reference number H14-2, and it has a dial and bezel design that is drawing some inspiration from the Yema Skin Diver Slim CMM.20, but it's not a complete homage, which we'll get into shortly. I've always been highly impressed with micro brands like Heimdallr offering amazing value and bang for buck while still providing great specs and quality finishing. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dave, and hey, did you know it's a great day to wear a watch? I am wearing my Bell & Ross Belly Tanker. This is a limited edition nicknamed the Dusty, but let me know what you have on your wrist today down in the comments below, and let's get into this fantastic dive watch. Now, as mentioned previously, this watch dial and bezel is very similar to the Yema Skin Diver Slim CMM.20, but there is use of a different case style, this one being the iconic 62 Moss styled case shape with the traditional 3-link oyster styled bracelet instead of the Yema styled slim case and scale design bracelet. This watch is constructed from solid 316L stainless steel, and the measurements on this one are going to be just a bit larger with a case diameter of 42 millimeters, lug to lug height of 49.4 millimeters. With those male in links, that's going to extend out to about 56 millimeters, but it does wear smaller than you would believe. And here's an example of how this watch wears on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. There is a dome sapphire glass crystal putting the case thickness right at about 14 millimeters, and the lug width is 20 millimeters, so there are plenty of strap swap options, and we have drilled lugs, which makes those strap swaps even easier. The bracelet is brushed satin finished, and it does taper down to 18 millimeters, where we're met with a fully milled solid steel double push release locking clasp. This clasp is unbranded and has 6 levels of micro adjustability. Now, I do appreciate the rounded edges of the clasp design, and these thin levels of high polish tie in with the high polished edges along the sides of the case and on the sides of the links. The case shape in that 62 Moss design have very distinct lugs that are curved downward, and there is a thin layer of brushed finishing that separates the smooth rounded top and bottom sections of the lugs. Circular brushing is on the front of the lugs, which gives a nice contrast as well, and we see this thick chunky screw down crown that is unbranded at 3 o'clock. The bezel is thick with a nice coin edge and high polish, and it does have a 120 click unidirectional rotation that is absolutely rock solid. There is zero back play, and it's the perfect amount of resistance. I'm so pleased to see that also this bezel lines up perfectly with the indices and hour markers on the dial. The bezel has a ceramic insert that is fully lumed, more on that later, and there is a triangle marker at 12 o'clock instead of the circular one like you'd see on the Yema. Getting up close on the dial, we see that this dial is a very matte black color that almost looks like a deep charcoal gray when compared to the high gloss black of the bezel. There are wedge-shaped hour markers with large wedges at 12, 3, 6, and 9. And these hour markers have a really cool Art Deco styled Arabic numeral font to them. There are simple white stick minute and hour markers along the sloped rayhot as well. This watch features a 3-hand movement with a baton-shaped hour marker and a very unique arrow-shaped minute hand. The seconds hand has a lollipop lume-filled pip, and I like that the seconds hand does extend all the way out to the chapter ring. We see Heimdallr branding printed at 12 o'clock in white contrast with a simple 300-meter water resistance rating indication at 6 o'clock above the automatic movement indication as well. And the automatic movement that is powering this watch is the Seiko NH35A, which does beat at 3 Hz or 21,600 vibrations per hour. It does allow for hand winding as well as hacking of the seconds hand, but the movement also supports a date function, so there will be a ghost date position on the crown. Now, this is something that could be make or break for some of you, but I'm completely fine with it because I think that this dial looks great without a date window. But if it were to have a matching color date wheel between 4 and 5 o'clock like my 50 Fathoms, I think it would have looked great as well. Now, this movement has an accuracy of about -1 to -4 seconds per day with a 0.1 beat error and a decent amplitude of between 230 and 240. All of these dial features are being protected by a dome sapphire glass crystal that does have a blue-hued anti-reflective coating, and this makes for crystal clear legibility of the dial with a nice subtle distortion effect when viewing it from an angle. Legibility isn't reserved for just daytime viewing. In the dark, the lume on this watch is fantastic. With a fully loomed bezel and wide hour markers and handset, you can tell what time it is very easily without any issues. The lume stays nice and bright for a couple of hours before fading away, but I did notice that the bezel lume seems to fade just a bit sooner compared to the dial lume. There is an etched branding into the screw down case back, and again, this allows for that 300 meters of water resistance when paired up with the screw down crown. There aren't really many things that I can complain about for this watch at a price of under $150. It wears great on my wrist size. It's got lots of great finishing from the dial to the bezel and the case, and even the bracelet is one of the better ones that I've seen at this price range. Now, a scale bracelet similar to the Yema designed one would be really awesome to see, and I'd personally even be willing to pay up to $250 for a version with something like that if possible. I am highly impressed with this watch, and again, I will link it down in the comments and description for you in case you'd like to go check these out for yourself. I do get a commission since I am an affiliate with AliExpress, so any purchases you make through those links do support my channel, and I really appreciate that. So if you found this video helpful, please leave it a like and share it with your friends or family, and be sure to drop me your questions down in the comment section. Also, let me know what you think of this watch. I look forward to reading your comments, and I hope to see you all at the next video. Till then, as always, may the Schwartz be with you. Take care.